I'm less and less interested in religious men, if I'm being honest with you. I told Paul this the other day. I've had some negative experiences with people that lead with their religion.
I don't care how bad life get. I am not dating no overly religious man. The minute you tell me you be at church multiple times a week or like every single whatever, you'll never hear from me again. That's because I feel like you should be with the overly religious women. I think
Y'all might eat me up for this one, but overly religious people, they low-key scare me. Like, why y'all be trying to use God to cover up y'all nasty ass personalities?
Is dating of a religious man a red flag in today's world? Women warning other women to avoid over religious men. Disclaimer: this is not to tarnish anyone's religion stroke faith. Rather, people are sharing their views and also their life experiences through these men. Like the video, leave your thoughts down below, and credit belongs to the creators of these short videos. I'll be back with more commentary.
A lot of the time when I tell women to be very careful with super religious men, I get a lot of pushback because I think they think that if a man is religious and that means he's going to be a good man regardless of everything else. They don't think that religious men are susceptible to the same ideas and propaganda that men, like non-religious men, hear on a day-to-day basis. But let me tell you what I experienced on vacation. I saw this firsthand, and it's very interesting because I never actually got to see it in person, even though I know it's real and that it exists. But specifically for Muslim men, these men you got to be very careful with, because not all of them actually follow the practice. And we know that's true because we can look all around the world and see what they have done to women in their lives and what is currently happening in a lot of places. So my sister and I were in Cancun for a week, and we ran into multiple groups of co-ed groups, different ages, different ethnicities. But we specifically ran into this group of Northern Sudanese men, and then a couple of them were Iraqi. They were all Muslim. So they also spoke Arabic. So me and my sister were kind of going back and forth with them and stuff, just talking about life, talking about Islam and all of that stuff, right? So one of the guys, I guess, fell in love with this Muslim girl that was on vacation. I don't think that she was a practicing Muslim, but the boys were. So this guy was telling us the entire time that he fell for this girl. He's like, I think this is my wife, you guys. Like, I love her, like everything about her. He starts describing her in detail, like just the way her hair falls, the way she laughs. I just love, she's so funny, she's smart. He was going in, he wouldn't stop talking about this girl all week, right? So before my sister and I ran into this group, they had already been there for a couple of days. So I don't know if something happened, but the girl's friends did not want her to talk to him. They would not leave her alone with him at all. So I think there was something that happened, or they just kind of felt like something was off about him. So I asked him, I said, so why don't they want you to hang out with her? Like, what's going on? He's like, they think I'm a player. They think I'm a bad guy. They don't want me to talk to her. So I was like, okay, did something happen? Did you do anything? Did you say something? He was like, no, nothing happened. I seriously have not done anything. The whole time we've been talking, her friends are there. They won't even let us go like 20 feet away from them. So the whole mission of his friend group was to get him alone with this girl. And at the time, I didn't know that his intention was to sleep with her. I thought he just wanted to have a private conversation, because the way he was talking was like he wanted this girl to be his wife. Like, he wanted to talk about a possible future, flying out to see each other, all these things. On the second to last day of us leaving, he finally gets her alone. They go upstairs, and before he left, he asked one of the guy friends. I didn't witness this, but the guy was telling us after. But he asked one of his guy friends if he could go upstairs with them and watch the door, like guard the door, so that if her friends come up looking for her or whatever, like they can't get in and they can have their alone time. So his friend was like, no, that's weird. Like, that kind of gives like predatory a little bit. Like, I don't want her to feel like she's locked in or anything. So he told him no. So the friend comes downstairs. He's telling us, yeah, they're upstairs right now. I guess they're going to do whatever they do. They weren't upstairs for even 40 minutes. It was like 35 minutes. He comes back down. When I tell you the switch up, he started talking about her so dirty, talking about how he would never get with a girl like her because he was able to get it so easily, and that the fact that he was able to sleep with her, he would never wife her, and he would never wife a woman that would do something like that, even though he just had sex with a girl he just met that week. The thing that was so surprising to me was just how his language switched up. I've never heard a guy just talk so negatively about somebody, and I'm thinking, you were literally just upstairs sleeping with her. How did you switch up this fast? and his friends and buddies were all laughing, and I was pretending to not speak Arabic that well, so I was pretending that I couldn't really understand them, but I was listening to everything they were saying, and I think they were comfortable saying all this stuff in front of me because we're on vacation. We are only going to know each other for this week, so they didn't really have anything to lose by telling me the truth, right? So they were just having regular boy talk with me sitting right there, me and my sister and like some of the other girls, and just talking so bad about her after just saying he wanted her to be his wife and all of this. The other thing that was crazy was that entire week we were talking about religion a lot. We're talking about Islam and Christianity and talking about haram and all these things, and they were talking about how they're such good men, they're such good guys. And then so that's why I low-key started to believe him, because up until that moment he was speaking like a good guy, and then after that happened it was like a switch day and night. So that's why you just have to be very, very careful with these religious men, because a lot of times it's all a front, and they're really good with their words, because Islam specifically is a very beautiful religion when it comes to the doctrine. Like, the words are very beautiful, very poetic, so they learn that from a young age, how to speak, how to swoon women, right? And I hope she wasn't looking for anything serious from him, because it gave that she believed him, and she believed that, you know, he was being genuine. But yeah.
Men that are super religious are super lustful and high-key demonic. I feel like without the God or the Bible or whatever they serve, without that, they would be such terrifying people to exist in society. These men are suffering inside like so much because they have all these lustful ideas and ideations of women, and they just don't know what to do with it. But because I'll use Christianity because I grew up in a Christian religion, and I literally just got out of a relationship with this super, super Christian man of God, heavy on the air quotes, and he was just so lustful, so controlling, so manipulative, so abusive, so everything. And it was just so interesting to like witness it happen in front of me, because I'm like, you really think you are following God and Jesus? Like, you really think you're doing what Jesus would want you to do? And it's so insane that the disconnect, the dissonance, and they're suffering inside because they know to some degree it doesn't make sense for them to have this yearning, this lustful energy, right? They know it's there and they want to exercise, but this book is telling them they can't do it. And something about that they don't agree with. But because they're so brainwashed in the religion, they just force themselves to pretend that they're not lustful demons. Literally, they're lustful demons cosplaying as men of God, and it's terrifying. Stay safe out there. Stay safe out in these streets, ladies. If he is religious and his actions are not matching what he says he's supposed to be, you know, if he's not practicing what he's preaching, you need to run, pack your bags right now. Men that are super religious tend to be incredibly lustful, and this is why. I made a video about this and it got a lot of traction, but it was just me saying the statement. I didn't really have anything else to back it up other than the experience that I had in my life. Someone asked, what is the psychology behind this? And I was like, yeah, what is the psychology behind this? Today I'm going to talk about the stages of how someone like this comes about. How does this even happen? I took some notes, so that's why I'm looking down here, just so you're aware. But I just want to preface by saying this is not an attack on religion. This is just a pattern that I have seen in life, and based on the video response, a lot of people have seen the same thing. Even in women sometimes, it's not just men. Okay, it could be whoever, but I feel like when you are super religious, you tend to be, you know, super lustful and just all the other things, all the above, and this is why. So how does little Timmy, who grew up in Sunday school, who was, you know, this good boy, how does he become a man that's incredibly lustful, incredibly abusive, manipulative, controlling, all the above? How does that even happen? So of course it starts young, especially in religion. When they're around this age, they get really harmful advice about just who they're becoming and how they should act in the world. So off the bat, boys are told that they're natural born leaders and that they're here to protect women. And they're also told that sexual thoughts are sinful and dangerous to them. And what they're actually missing is an actual healthy conversation that teaches them about consent and just sexual education in general. Think about it. You teach a little boy that the things that are naturally happening to him, right? The things that he's going to go through in puberty, all of those things, you train him to think that it's evil, and you create this big ball of shame around something that's oh so natural. This creates the perfect storm for what we're talking about. This is where the inner conflict starts happening. Then it gets to their teenage years where they're dealing with absolutely healthy things that are happening within their bodies, but because they've been told that it's evil, they have no outlet. They don't even know how to express it. So it becomes very confusing for them to handle. And usually where do boys go, or people go? They go to corn. You know, they start using corn. It's the quickest place you can go to go have some fun. Nobody's watching. It's a secret. And this is where the secret starts. This is where the objectifying of women starts happening, because now you're just going to this secret place constantly to get your pleasure, and you're not really processing it in a healthy way. This starts the shame cycle. You feel a desire, you act on it in the secret way. You feel a desire, you act on it in a secret way. And this continues. The cycle starts, and it's a scary cycle. This is where it gets a little concerning for us women, because as these boys grow up into men, many of them start taking roles that just give them built-in respect. So pastors, worship leaders, Bible study teacher, anything, because they get this built-in leadership role, this built-in respect factor, it's just easy for them to slide into it. It's easy for them to not even check all the things that they've been doing in the background, because now people just look up to them. This is why there are so many men of God, so many men that are in this space that are just terrible people. They just take advantage of people, women, children. It's really, really scary, because they've been doing these things in the dark since they were little boys. And so when they get into these leadership roles, they don't think, oh, let me check myself. Let me check all of these, terrible habits that I have. Instead, they just hide it even more, because they have to keep up the good act. They have to keep up the image of they're a good guy. They're a godly guy. And if you stay around them enough, you get to see that they're not that. But usually they fool a lot of people, and it's really, really dangerous. That's why I'm talking about all of this. So we got religious authority, we got sexual repression, and we got practice compartmentalization, right? And this equals the perfect condition for abuse of power. Let me be clear, this is not just about attraction to women. That's completely normal. What I'm talking about is when men use religion as a way to manipulate women into situations they don't want to be in. Let me bring it back to women. If you grew up in a religious background, you are very susceptible to this, because you've been taught that your worth is in how godly and how good you can be, how good of a wife you can be, how good of a woman you can be, which usually equals obedient. So when you meet someone that is controlling, manipulative, and religious and all of that, a man like that, right? And you have been trained as a woman to say yes to everything. This becomes the perfect place for him to manipulate you to do things that you never ever wanted to do. And you will be so conflicted, because you have this person that's supposed to be the leader, right? You're taught that a man is supposed to lead you the same way he's taught that he's supposed to lead your life. And you're looking at this person, he's telling you, you need to be doing A, B, C, and D. You're like, no, I don't actually. And he's like, yes, you do. The Bible says so. Or yes, you do. This book says so. Or yes, you do, because God says so. And it's become so conflicting, because he's gonna make sure your belief system is messed up as possible as it can be, so that you can always listen to his word and take his word over yours.
You know what the biggest red flag is? When someone becomes hyper religious out of the blue. And that is a hill that I'm willing to die on. When someone deep dives so violently into structured belief, there's always a part of them that they are so desperately trying to purge out. So some part of them that they are ashamed of, that they are trying to deny instead of heal. And they use structured belief as a coping mechanism. It's always lust or anger or homosexuality. It's always those are the big three. So instead of addressing these things, taking accountability, all of a sudden it's the devil. All of a sudden you're holier than thou, and like when you have these slip-ups, it's the devil. Which is why when it comes to the conversation of righteousness, I genuinely believe that it is a lot easier to be righteous without structured belief, because you are 1,000% responsible for yourself. There's nobody making you think with your instead of your you did that. I will forever see past the holier than thou persona, the self-created pedestal. Beyond that, I see the overcompensation. I see the shame, the guilt, the disgust you have with yourself that you are now projecting onto others. You feel so ashamed within yourself, within your being, that you feel like you need to be so violent in your belief.
I'm genuinely not surprised. Like literally, even look at Sasha. You've had how many kids out of wedlock with a Muslim, and then now all of a sudden, and you have the audacity to please. And then my man, that one we're not even gonna do. I can keep going, like even in real life experiences. Like one experience I had with this guy that would read the Bible on the bus. His anger, I've never seen anger like that in my life. In real life, never. But he would read the Bible every single day on the bus.
I thought I was the only one with this mentality, you guys. Being a religious or overly religious man is a red flag, like total red flag. There's no discussion. A lot of people have the mindset like, oh, I want to get married to a God-fearing man. I want a prayerful man, which is fine. Everybody have preference, and that is totally fine. But this is mine. Once you're overly religious, you are religious man. I don't even want to care. I don't care what type of religion you are from. Once you are overly religious man, you are a walking red flag. To me, a red flag to me. I don't really need to explain much, but I'll give you a few explanations. Imagine like facing some challenges in your business and your business is not going well, and like you told your man or your husband, and the next thing this man would suggest is, oh, let's go and pray, instead of let's look for a way to reach more audience. Like that is totally crazy. Now imagine your stomach is paining you and you told your man, your husband, and you people are supposed to go to the hospital, but the next thing this man is suggesting is, oh, let's pray, maybe it's a spiritual attack. Like that is bullshit. Get him away. Now imagine your man cheated on you, then come to you and tell you that, oh, it's the devil's work, that lady is Jezebel. You, which is also a religious man, a religious woman, sorry, will believe, oh, those Jezebel, he's seduced my husband, let me pray against them. Then you open a prayer meet, a prayer group, and you pray against Jezebel. Crazy people, you people should leave here. I actually want someone who have critical thinking or reasoning. Like something is wrong, okay, there's a reason behind this thing is wrong, let's look for a way to figure it out and fix the problem, instead of let's go and pray. Like pray pray let me not just say that, but that's just for that. It's fine if you want a God-fearing man, but for me, I don't want no God-fearing man. I don't want a God-fearing man. Go away. Those people are hypocrite. They are the real devil. Yes, they're literally going to use the Bible against you, and they will come with the saying, the Bible says the man is the head of the house, the woman needs to submit. They will use this as a means to make you a slave, that you will not have a voice in your own home. Crazy. Literally going to misquote the Bible and use it to their own advantage. You, as a Hebrew 30-something woman who wants to be virtuous, well, listen, get away. I don't want to see a religious man. The Bible says you should not divorce your husband, even your husband is dating you. You will go to overly religious people. It's a no-no. For both gender, overly religious people should be a no-no. I'm using overly religious. You can be religious, but overly is like the extreme. Is a no-no. Anyway, I will see you in my next video. Mwah.
Now, on my case, I'm not going to talk about men alone. I'm going to touch anybody who is over religious, a man or a woman. Most of these over religious people, they preach water and take wine. What do I mean by that? I mean, what they preach is they don't practice it. Most of these people, they teach you to be loving, to be kind, to be generous, to be accountable for your deeds. But let's take, for example, most of the churches, most of these pastors, the religious people, they are driving high-end vehicles. But what about the congregation? Most of the followers, we get that they live in the slums, they live in a poor conditions, but their pastor is driving the big cars in town. So most of them, they don't actually care, and so long as they are brainwashing their followers and everything. Some of these people go to an extent of telling other people that when you get sick, you don't have to go to hospital. What you're supposed to do is come to church and pray for you and you'll get well soon. I've seen some organization whereby people are telling others you don't have to go to hospital, just pray and you'll be okay. Sometimes back we had a scam. Do we call it? Let me call it something like a cat. You get that the leader had brainwashed his followers so much that he told them that if you want to go to heaven, just come to my place, fast for certain days, and you'll go to heaven. What happened is most of the followers they died and they got buried. But the leader, I think the leader was eating secretly. So what happens in this scenario is you get a leader, is brainwashing his followers, don't do this, then don't take your children to immunization, don't eat when you get sick, just come, I'm going to pray for you. Most of the times the brainwash around these people is too much. Anything you face in life, instead of thinking logically, you are told, just come, we are going to pray about this, and everything will be okay. And that's why you have seen the women in this video, they are sharing the experiences. Some are sad and some are saying that they would not like to even date some of these religious people because what they think of, let's say for example you have a business, the business is not doing well. Instead of going around sitting down and thinking what is the solution of this business, for them is just come to church, let's pray about it and everything will be all right. It's not everything you need to just pray. You need also to be logical and think what is this person really telling me to do? I don't know your experience with over religious man or over religious woman. I would like to know. Kindly share your experience in the comment section. I'll be reading the comments. Make sure you give the video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and thank you for watching. I'll see you next in my next video. Bye bye for now.